Hello viewers, here's a look at two Ansmann battery refreshers. One on the left is the standard Energy 16 version, and the one on the right is the current version, the Energy 16 Plus. I'm going to do a brief overview of these chargers today, and then I'll do another video of them separately later on. They are a fair bit different, and which one is quote better is really going to depend on what you're going to be charging, and a couple of other things as well. One of the biggest differences that you'll see is that this one here only has two 9-volt cell chargers, and the other two have been replaced with USB ports, which you'll see here. There's one on the other side too, and I can certainly see why they did that in today's age of USB powered devices. I have used those from time to time, and they work fine. Not a bad idea, but since this is really a battery charger, and I bought it to charge batteries, not devices, I'm not sure if that's really something I'd want to have. I don't personally use 9-volt batteries that often. I only have one device that takes them. I only have 4 9-volt cells to begin with, so I don't do a ton of charging of 9-volt cells, so the 2 slots is adequate for my purposes. But if you need more 9-volt cells, this is probably not the best thing. I personally would rather them have added another set of cylindrical cell charges so I could do more AAAs or whatever. Another major difference is the lights, and this is probably the thing that bothers me the most about the new one, is that the viewing angle on the lights is extremely poor. What I typically do is set the thing up on this table here, and it's nice to be able to just walk by in the hallway here and take a look at, see if the batteries is charged. I'm going to zoom in here and get it in focus, and you can see what the charge is on the old one. You can't see a thing on the new one, and you really, even from here, you can't see all that well what the charge is on the new one. So you really have to be almost above it completely to see it, which is kind of stinky. So that's a bummer. Another poor design found on the new one is the fact that there's no cooling vents on it at all. This one here, I'll turn these around. As you can see here, we have a nice array of cooling vents, and we have a big vent on the bottom right where the transformer is, so there's a good amount of airflow coming through this refresher. This has nothing except for those little things down there, which aren't going to do much of anything. So this one really cooks when it's going and it's fully loaded. They both get pretty hot, but this one certainly runs cooler. Now, this new one here has a fair number of gimmicks to it. This claims it's got, well, it does have a pre-charge cycle for batteries that are fully depleted. It'll run at a lower charging current before going to full power, and it also refreshes for a lot longer if the battery is fully depleted. And the refreshing cycle, I don't even know what it does. I've looked into it, I haven't really been able to get any good answers. If somebody knows what it does, please tell me, because I'm interested to know. But I don't know if it makes any difference. For all I know, it could be a total gimmick. But anyways, so let's see, what else should we underscore here? Oh yeah, so that's got extra features, but I kind of think this one is actually better for the batteries because the charging current is much lower, or kind of lower anyways. For AAA batteries, this one does 300 and this one does 400. 400 is pretty high, quite frankly so is 300. And for AAA, or no, just AA cells, the old one does 700 milliamps, which is kind of high, and the new one does 1,000 milliamps, which is really high. Fast charging batteries are just not good. Most batteries, see this is a standard Duracell rechargeable battery. It calls for a 270 milliamp charge for 16 hours. Of course, nobody does that because that's kind of impractical, but the point is you definitely want to have a lower charging current, even if it takes another hour or two to get the battery fully charged. In the long run, it'll be much better for the cell. The C and D rating is both at 1,000. The only oddity here is that this one does 70 milliamps for the 9 volts, and this one only does 60. So the charging current for the 9 volts is actually lower than the one, but higher, and everything else or equal. Typically, these charges, they're not too fast. I think a cell goes for about 3 hours or so to get a good charge, which is fine. And the batteries don't get overly hot. You know, I mean, they're warm, but they're not really hot to the touch. If you have a charger that's really getting the batteries hot, like over 100, 110 degrees, they're charging way too fast. And it's going to really ruin the cells over time. Both of these chargers do monitor each battery channel individually, which is something that's really important for the battery health, because when you, let's say you have a device that takes 4 batteries, the batteries don't drain equally. One of the batteries is going to have, let's say, 50% charge, and the other one's going to have, let's say, 40, 30, and 20. It's probably not quite so extreme, but it's a big difference. And so if you charge all 4 of those batteries in a charger like this one per se, which does not monitor the cells individually, it just charges them all at once, you're going to end up overcharging 2 of the cells and undercharging 2 of the cells. And over time that really ruins the batteries, and it doesn't give you a good integral charge either. So your batteries aren't going to last as long each time you use them. So these chargers are really good in the sense that they monitor each individual cell on its own. So each battery is getting its own charge, and it's going to be a full 100% charge every time. No overcharging, no undercharging, anything like that. Both of these refreshers claim you can leave it on the cradle all the time. The cradle, going back to phones here. They claim you can leave it in the charger after it's full. I don't believe that, because even a trickle charge, unless it's at really low milliamperage, it'll eventually wear out your batteries. So I always take them out when they're done. I've only left them in here just to show this. One thing I will underscore about this charger, and this is really important, and this is a big difference between these two of these units. This charger will charge almost any battery stuff in there. All these batteries here are relatively old cells. They sat for several years. They didn't get used a whole lot, so they're still okay. But this refresher simply will not charge them. It'll air out after a few minutes of charging. This one, all these cells from here to here, it will not charge a single one of these cells. This refresher charges them just fine, and I know there's nothing wrong with them because they last as long as any other battery does when you put them in something. So this charger is very particular about what it charges. It only takes brand new batteries. You know, I bought these batteries 5 or 6 months ago. They're doing fine, but every once in a while it'll air out and not work, and I'll have to turn it off, insert again, and eventually it'll charge up okay. But this charges very finicky if you have older batteries. This one charges up older batteries without a problem. I don't know if that's because the computer is different, or because the charging current is lower, so it's not as much a strain on the battery. I don't know, but either way, the older one charges up older batteries fine, and that's one of the main reasons why I like it and I got it, because I have a lot of old batteries and I couldn't charge them up in the other one. So that's going to be it for this video. Again, which one do I personally like better? I'd have to go with the older one because the lights and because it actually charges all the batteries I want to charge up. Alright, so that's it. I'll do several videos of these chargers later on. have any questions, leave them in the comments, and that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Out.